it's me.
Happy Valentine's Day!
I'm even dressed for the holiday. Today I have for you another compilation. So this is a collection of old footage in a long-ish video for your enjoyment. Today's theme, appropriately, is love.
Because it's Valentine's Day.
So for today's compilation, I have selected my top 5 favorite couples. Some of these couples were actually characters that were created individually in different videos, and some of them I've created multiple times in different ways. I'm just gonna do my best, okay? Because we got a lot of videos and a lot of projects and a lot of overlap and things happening in different times, and it's messy. So in no particular order, these are my top 5 favorite couples from me history. Finally, we arrive at this over here. Oh boy. So we have Tilly, Millie, Willie, Billy, and then there's Lemon. This is actually an existing character. I drew her really quickly in my Create This Book Challenge video. For some reason, you guys just became obsessed. I brought her back by popular request, but this is new, okay? Because Lemon has found love, and it's this man right over here. The backwards hat, spiky hair, and the arm. Watch the arm. It's all over, folks, and his name is Lime. Jeez. Okay. He's essentially Lemon's perfect soulmate. What do these two falling in love between the colors of the rainbow have to do with the rest of this situation? Well, technically, they are supposed to be helping. Lemon is obviously supposed to be working on yellow, but has clearly found other priorities. And Lime, he was assigned to green. You know what? I'm not even sure where his paintbrush is. Backing up and looking at the full picture here. Moving on to the next stain blob, likely another victim of thumbnail. Many of them are. It's brutal out here. Once again, starting with the necessary repairs, smoothing out the bottom and the underarm area, and then I'm going right in with the bunny ears. Yep, it's a bunny blob, and she will be the first bunny blob character so far. Oh wait, sorry Sunny, you exist. Okay, never mind. Once I've got those bunny ears on, I'm gonna roll out another piece of clay. I don't really know what I'm doing here. Okay, I'm gonna roll out a piece. Come on, what's happening here? I'm rolling out a piece and just cutting a little wonky star shape.
She's a rock star.
Ew. No, she's a strawberry.
Oh, it's Strawberry?
No, she's a bear.
Who? Carrie?
No, she's a blob.
Isn't she a blob?
No, she's a bunny. Well, she's also a blob.
Oh, so Strawberry.
No, she's not a strawberry.
Okay, Straw Bunny. No?
It's Susie. Who the heck is Susie? Susie is a strawberry bunny. She is one of the many strawberry characters, and she sometimes gets lost in all of it. Even though there's nothing that really stands out or is super special about Susie, she is, well, I mean, basically she's forgettable. But not today, okay? We are giving her a moment today. This is Susie's time. Adding some fuzzy texture to her ears, and once that clay dried, I noticed some little rough spots on her, so I went ahead and sanded those down and onto the base coat. And beautiful, she's ready. And now I know we just left pink, but we're back. It's pink again. Hello there. Going in with a nice edible strawberry pink. It's delicious. I can just taste the strawberries in this color. Don't you agree? Please agree. Then for her little strawberry top here, of course, I'm going green. You know, I'm not a psychopath, okay? Well, no, I'm not. And then I'm struggling with the placement of the eyes just a little bit. And we're gonna go with this for the face. Gosh, it's so boring. Susie, no wonder everyone forgets you, girl. Adding some nice blush to her, and then of course her inner ears. And then it's time to paint in her eyes, which they started out nice and reasonable, boring Susie. Eyes can be tricky, and we've seen some unfortunate things happen. Even with my delicate approach, with each little tiny adjustment that I made, these eyes just got bigger and bigger and bigger until wow. Okay, wow. Susie, I take it back. You're not boring. You're terrifying. I added in the whiskers, eyelashes, and strawberry seeds while I contemplated those giant black holes. I decided to just go with it and added some little highlights in there, and
Okay, wait!
she's actually kind of adorable. Now for all my blobs, I do use a Liquitex clear coat, nice and thick and glossy, and I'm gonna apply that right over the whole thing to seal in the paint and protect it. And here it is. It's the Susie, the strawberry bunny. Oh, sorry, strawberry. I mean, the only bunny that is a strawberry. Okay, it's Susie. While I didn't mean to make the eyes so enormous, I have to admit I kind of love them. It adds some character to Susie. The only problem is she is so lonely. She has no friends, only competitors, and little Susie needs support, okay? It's hard being so unspecial. So okay, here we go. I still got my clay hands on, and it's time to make Barrett. Starting with the usual order of business, his bottom. Now, if you don't know, Barrett is Susie's boyfriend, who is actually much more popular than her. While Susie is often forgotten in a sea of strawberry characters, Barrett stands out as the lone carrot, and also he's just so cute. I went ahead and sculpted Barrett's ears, which are still bunny ears, but they are a little different than Susie's, and then added his little carrot top, which I have sculpted before, a much tinier version in his original cork creation. Oh yeah, also Susie, hi. But for some reason, I was really struggling with these. I couldn't get them to look quite how I was picturing, but it's pretty close. Adding the texture to his ears as well. I love the look of fuzzy ears on these, but gosh, I hate doing it. It's just arthritis. I don't actually have arthritis yet, but this process is arthritis. I don't get it. Go ahead and apply a base coat and opening up a fresh container
of Barrett.
Painting that on, and it is just so striking to me how much this color looks like a carrot. Ugh, Barrett and Susie's colors are just mwah. The flavor is so strong. Once I got him fully orange, I went in with his carrot leaves, and I used that same green that I used for Susie, trying to keep them somewhat complementary. And oh yes, he's a carrot. Yeah. I'm sketching in his face, and oh my goodness, he's a pretty new character of mine. I cannot believe how long it took me to make a carrot themed character. What was I thinking? Makes me want to do more carrot themed characters. But then the same thing that happened to Susie will happen to Barrett, and we will forget him in a sea of carrots. No, never. No, never. I will never make another carrot-themed character again. We must protect Barrett. That's not a promise, though, because forever is a really long time. After I added in all of the facial details and the little carrot nose thing, I turned him around, and I'm realizing now that I forgot to tell you that I didn't remember to sculpt a tail for Susie and Barrett. They deserved sculpted little fluffy bunny tails. I forgot to sculpt it. So this is what they're gonna get. Sorry, guys. It's something. Adding the clear coat, and boom, it's Barrett the carrot in blob form. And I think he is straight up cute. I'm a big Barrett fan. He is just the perfect companion for Susie. Look at her. He just brightens her spirit. Look at the difference when they're together. Magical. So much love in this episode. And now for the hamster twins. They are the exact same squishy, but one of them has been colored on. They're actually not in too bad of shape, besides a couple little rips, but nothing terribly shocking. They do have super cute little hamster bods, and oh, this guy's creeping in the background. Get out of there. But I don't think this solid orange color is really doing much for them. I think they could use some more For these, we have to break out the sandpaper. Make sure if you do this to cover your nose and mouth, because I don't think your lungs would appreciate squishy dust. I went over this last time, but basically if the squishy is too smooth, the paint no likey. So you need to add some texture for the paint to stay on. It's not every squishy that's like this, just the ones that are like super smooth. So now with half of their skin sanded off, they're ready to paint. So I'm starting with some slick paint in the color grape, which I thought was very appropriate because I'm doing a peanut butter and jelly theme. For somebody who doesn't even like to eat peanut butter and jelly, I don't know why I've made now 3 peanut butter and jelly squishies, but I think it looks really cute. I just don't like to eat it. I actually like peanut butter and jelly separately. I just don't think they should ever be mixed. Like never. Ever, ever, ever. Anyway, this is the jelly hamster that I'm working on, and I'm painting it a light purple. Whoa, that color is so much darker when it dries. Look at that. Look at that! I feel like purple paint in particular dries a lot darker. I don't know, maybe I'm making that up. Wow, my fingernails blend in perfectly with that purple. That's so weird. Like seriously, the exact same color. I'm fascinated by the simplest things. Okay, so now I'm painting on the white belly and the classic white hamster markings on the face. Oh, and a lot of people were saying they wanted me to make the twins into Chip and Dale, which I thought was a cute idea. That's jelly on on the head, by the way. But the thing is, Chip and Dale are like the exact same design with just slightly different colors, and I don't know, I wanted to make them a little bit more different from each other than that. So I decided to go with a PB&J theme instead. And now it's time for the peanut butter hamster. I'm using the matte paint for him. I thought it would look nice to have the jelly hamster with the slick paint and the peanut butter hamster in the matte paint. So here we go with that nice light peanut butter color. And so yes. And after many coats of paint and love, this guy is ready for the details. And I want to try to make his body look like a peanut. So I added little crisscross stripes all over his body, but then when I cleaned them up, they got a little thicker. I felt like they were a little in your face. So I lightened the color and went over them to take it down a notch. And I'm glad I did because I think this ended up looking a little better. And again, I'm adding the hamsterness with the white details and giving him some nice peanut butter on his head. And yes, that is actual peanut butter. No, of course it's not. And here comes the face. Do-do-do-do. Here comes the face, and I say, it's alright. Okay, just ignore me. And yes, good catch. I gave him purple eyes, and the jelly one, peanut butter eyes. It's like the yin-yang thing going on, you know? And look, they're looking at each other. Aww. So, jelly is the girl, peanut butter is the boy, and they're just such a cute couple. Wait, are they a couple or are they twins? I don't know. I hope that you guys aren't disappointed that I didn't end up going with Chip and Dale, but I'm personally really happy with these. I love how they came out so much. Oh, okay, so they're a couple. On to the cleanup process. This part is pretty easy. I can do most of it with this little sanding tool, just getting rid of that thick seam and any rough spots that are raised. Just a couple minutes and they're gone. Then I break out my clay and I can just use this to smooth over any deep dips or crevices, especially on the bottom. Bada bing, it's finished. I'm gonna use my clay to add on to this and create different characters. And the very first character I'm gonna create is, well, let me not say who each of these characters are yet.
It'll be a surprise.
But this one's a pretty lame surprise because if you know any of my characters at all, this is the one you know. I'll give you a hint. He's Pickle. Okay, it's Pickle. Yeah, sorry, it's just too obvious to even pretend. Oh my gosh, the tail. Just look at that little blob tail and the yes! Oh, Pickle, the dinosaur, the blob, and ooh, the tail. Did I mention the tail? I gotta say it again. It's cute. So to paint Pickle, I'm gonna use none other than the color Pickle from my own paint set, currently available at MoriahElizabethMerch.com. But hey, it's not a promo. I'm just saying. Go get it. This is, of course, the perfect color for my boy. So here I go. I'm going. I don't know what that was. Pickle is, of course, gonna get a nice full coat of green on him. Fortunately, this cast material that I've used to create the base blobs is so nice to work with. Clay sticks to it perfectly, paint adheres to it lovingly, and it's also a nice bright color, so I don't have to worry about priming it. It's a little heavier than expected. I thought that this was just like plaster, but it's not at all crumbly. I decided to do a little drop test on one of them. Oh my gosh, his legs are gone. Oh no.
He was born like that.
I used my little experiment blob for this. It barely even chipped the surface. Apparently, this is much stronger than plaster, which I didn't know when I bought it, but I really should have because the bag literally says 5 times stronger than plaster. Next, moving on to Pickle's little spines, which I do want to say, my goal with the Blob universe characters is obviously not to replicate the original characters exactly. His name's still Pickle. He's still a derpy dinosaur, but he's a blob now. He may have slightly different colors, features, details, etc. Chill out, I'm not going to change Pickle drastically. But some of my characters, I did design them such a long time ago. I may bring them back in blob form, but give them a little bit of a fresh spin. I decided to add some little blushing cheeks to Pickle's face, which he doesn't normally have, but I thought that they would look cute. And oh, the Pickle face dilemma. Look, I love Pickle, but I have to say, out of context, his face kind of looks like a green bowling ball, so I tried to add a little bridge of his nose to make it clearer that these are eyes and these are nostrils. But then I feel like it kind of looks like a weird frown with a 2-part goatee. I don't know what to do about that. I'm gonna think about that for a second while I add a little tummy tummy patch. Pickle does not normally have a tummy patch. His cousin Derp, yes. Second cousin Burp, yes. Pickle, no. But, say it with me, okay? We're accepting change. He's brand new, Pickle Blob, and he don't care what regular Pickle does or doesn't have. He is not replacing the original Pickle. He is just an adjacent version in a new universe. Then I decided to go over the nose bridge with green so it wouldn't be so prominent and it would blend in a little bit more. I think that helps, right? I've been staring at it for too long. Now it looks like a mustache. I'm adding the classic pickle spots to the spine with some pascas and little pickle splooches to the back. Most people don't know what to call these. They're
called splooches.
Like splotches, but elevated. And my signature. Finally adding a nice clear glossy top coat and a baba bam. The final Pickle Blob is finished. Oh, I love him. I knew it had to be Pickle first for this new series of characters. He's just the classic character of mine that's been around forever, and we just can't stop with him. I love the look of it, the feel of it in my hand. It just feels like the start of a new collection, and my hoarding tendencies are on fire. More! Let's make more! Okay, so meet Blob. Hi, Blob. She's got a blob for a body, blobs for hands, and blobs for feet.
But she's not like the other blobs.
Actually, she is. She is literally
The exact same as everyone else.
Let's change that. Bringing in some DOS clay. I'm gonna use this to first clean up some of the little imperfections.
No, it's fine, sweetie.
Everyone's got some little cracks in their pits. When you see your cracked pit, remember what Mama Blob, now known as Starla, went through. Never forget where you came from. Now I'm just gonna smooth over that so we can hide it. And just about every single blob is born with a rough bottom. They don't say smooth as a baby's butt in the blob universe because these babies' butts are rough. So I'm smoothing that out as well, grabbing another hunk of clay, and this is where we get to the fun. This is a fun hunk.
Okay.
I'm gonna start sculpting the additions to create my first character. I'm not even gonna try to build the suspense here because we all know exactly who this is, right?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, suspense it is. Here we go. Every blob universe, I give you guys a chance to vote on a character to bring into the blob universe. I check through the comments on the last episode and then take the most popular character requests to create a poll on the community tab, and then you guys vote on that poll, and boom, a winner is selected. And this time, very clearly, you guys have chosen Pickled Pink. Whoa, 55%. She just blew the rest of them out of the water. My girl deserves this. And not to take away from her victory, but what have you guys done to poor Eustace? 11% after all he has done for you? 11%! All the memories! This, and this, and this, and then this. 11%. Look, I know there has to be a loser, but for some reason, I'm always just so personally offended for the loser of these polls, especially with this kind of discrepancy. Goodness gracious, it wasn't even close. It's okay, Eustace. I don't know how, I don't know when, but someday we will get them back. Anyway, so yeah, Pickled Pink. I went ahead and sculpted her spines, and this is now the 4th time I've shaped this exact dino blob physique, except this time I gave her just the slightest uptick of the tail. Just
boop. She's a lady.
I don't know why, but that was just so cute. And now I'm ready for paint. No, base coat.
That's right.
What happened? Oh, okay. My hands are wet. Onto the gesso. I do like to gesso these, especially since I've been stuck using this darker colored clay recently. They sold out of the light color. It really helps to cut down on the amount of coats I have to add for the actual paint job. And done. Time for pink. I'm going with the classic Pickled Pink color, and this kind of marks the closing of a chapter because Pink, what sometimes I like to call her Pink, is the last of the Derpy Dino characters that I have to create. Now, I do realize that even with the 4 Derpy Dinos complete, we do have 2 potential baby dinos. Pinkle, Gherkin, that's you. May or may not be Pickle and Pickled Pink's secret twins, but since they're babies, they need to be small. I have been thinking it would be kind of cute to make smaller versions of the blob form, make mini blobs to go with the big blobs.
Cute!
But that would require me going through this whole process again. Not gonna lie, didn't really enjoy that. Pickled Pink's base colors are done, and I'm gonna go ahead and sketch on her features. The original Pickled Pink doesn't have a tummy patch, but the Pickle Blob does, and I want them to have matching energy. I'm gonna put her blush on. I know you're a
Busy mom now.
life is hectic. Pickle left his dirty laundry on the floor, and Pinkle slapped Gherkin, but let's just make some time.
Get your makeup done, girl, okay?
Here comes a little nose bridge, her eyes, nostrils, eyelashes, fix that little misplaced nostril sketch, and I did add highlights to her eyes. Pickle doesn't have any, and she looked fine without them, but do they? Is it better without? Yeah, I think I'll keep them. I added her little pastel spine spots all over, and then of course her classic derpy dino splooches, and here is Pickled Pink, the dino blob. She came out just as adorable as ever. Oh, and look who showed up. Of course, it's Pickle. Let's play dumb. What are you doing here, bud? Oh, okay. You just want to stand next to her? Cool, cool, very cool. Blob love. It's subtle but beautiful, isn't it? Hello. So here's our first victim. Some serious violent crimes have been committed against this little fellow. I think the murder weapons were scissors and a Sharpie. Somebody had fun with a Sharpie. Doesn't look like it was an accident either. There's a giant slice right through the face, a slice through the ear, and of course the severed foot. Oh, look at that. They scribbled on his flesh. Aside from his many mutilations, I'm not a huge fan of the pink and orange color combination, so let's see what we can do with this. And look, I've already made my first mistake. Orange was the wrong color choice for the background. I'm gonna start by taking some sandpaper to this. This will just rough up the texture of the foam and prepare it for paint. Now for fixing all of the rips, I'm just gonna take some fabric glue and just spread it on in there. And then I'm using a rubber band to hold everything together while the glue dries. Oh, and another. That'll do it. Once that's dry, I'm removing the rubber bands. I'm gonna give the squishy a break for a second. I'm gonna bring out a chunk of memory foam. I thought it would be cool to add a little something to this, so I'm just cutting out a dome shape. It's gonna be a nice little hat. So I'm smoothing and smoothing. Here we are. And his hat is actually
Not a hat at all.
it's a cherry. So I'm gluing that on, and yes, the cherry is almost the same size as the ice cream cone. Totally accurate proportions right there. Now I'm going in with a completely random color of paint, just basically to smooth over the rough areas and fill in the holes, rips, gaps, and cracks. The bottom is looking like an earthquake aftermath, so that's gonna need some work. Just using a nice layer of paint to create a smooth surface that we can then paint over. We use a lot of paint here. That's all dry, and he's ready for decoration. So I'm painting this with a light chocolate color, and as you can see, this is going to take several coats to cover up that mess that's underneath, so we shall keep going. Is he actually a cat made of chocolate, or does he just have chocolate brown fur? I don't know. I don't have the answers. I just ask the questions. I will say this brown looks just awful against that orange background. Thank you. Orange is just not your color, buddy. Okay, we got his body covered. Now bring in the ice cream. What's the flavor? What is it?
It's mint.
So that's right, I'm doing a nice mint ice cream for his head. I'm hoping to create a more kind of appetizing color combination than the original, which was a fluorescent orange and a fleshy pink. So now we have a lovely milk chocolate and a refreshing mint. Adjectives. I'm trying to unsee this, but it kind of looks like the ice cream cone is like a piece of shrapnel that pierced his skull, and then the ice cream is kind of like his brains that are bursting out. Okay, all right then. I'm starting to move on to the toppings. I'm painting that cherry, which somehow looks even bigger now. It's growing. Well, who doesn't like a massive cherry? Do you want
A cherry on top?
or do you want... And onto the little cone, giving that a quick coat. And then I'm going in and cleaning up this very messy ice cream edge that's all the way around, going over that twice to make sure to get nice even coverage. And yes, that looks much better. It was so difficult to choose design ideas for these two cats because I feel like I could design 100, so many possibilities. I need to get a collection of these. I mean, I could do rainbow, cookies and cream, strawberry lemonade, rainbow, cookie dough, blue raspberry, cotton candy, funfetti, rainbow. I have a lot of ideas, is what I'm trying to say. I'm now working on some touch-ups, just fixing some of the edges so that everything looks neat. And I decided to give him a dark brown chest. Do cats ever have a darker colored chest? I don't think so. That's probably why this looks very awkward. But I'm ignoring that and just adding some chocolate chips to the mint ice cream. And now it's actually looking a lot more like ice cream, cream. That really did it for me. And at this point, I've realized that his chest looks just ridiculous, and I hate it. So I'm wiping that away with some toilet paper.
Wiping the poo-poo.
So now I get to repaint that area like it never happened. This time, I'm just gonna stick with some little stripes, give him a little chest hair, and define the paws a little bit more. Oh, and it's showtime for the face. I did sketch out the face beforehand. It just makes it a lot easier to do that off camera and then be able to just kind of trace over the lines. I'm trying to avoid another situation. I made his expression kind of like since he has ice cream on his head and he's hungry for it. Last touch, added a little brown on his tail, and boom, we are done. I think it's a great makeover. I like the new design. It's just, you know, more interesting, has better detail than before. You would never know that he'd been sliced through the face and that his foot had been ripped off. I'm sure some people will have problems with the face. They always do. Everyone thinks they can do better. It's fine. I'm fine. I like to give each squishy its own personality and try different expressions on their faces, so I like to experiment. Did this one come out slightly creepy? No. Does he look kind of like he wants to eat your face off? No. Anyway, I am actually very happy with it. I think he looks cute.
I'll keep him.
Moving on to the other ice cream cat, it's the same squishy with different injuries. The most obvious is that her cone is broken off and missing, but notice that's not all that's missing. The cone took her ear. She now only has one ear, but that's okay. Oh yes, and that. The previous owner provided me with a rubber band. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Woo, we're in space. This damage could have easily happened over time with use instead of vicious acts of violence. Judging by how dirty this squishy is, it's been used a lot. So I'm gonna sand this, or these.
I have 2 squishies.
And to get the squishy back in one piece, I'm just using my glue, and I'm gonna glue it back in one piece. I was just gonna use the same rubber band that was sent with it, but it was too stretched out. How did that happen, I wonder? So I'm grabbing a fresh rubber band. Oh. That one's much better. Here's one that'll work, and I'll go ahead and fix up the ear as well. She's only got one left, so let's make it good. Now that everything's back together, maturity is my best quality. We have to deal with this. So I dug up this random little cupcake squishy. I'm pulling out the little pin and throwing it on the ground. I ended up stepping on that several days later. And instead of having ice cream spilling down its head, she's gonna have a cupcake spilling down her head, which makes a lot less sense. But for some reason, I was really happy with this idea. I have plenty of little ice cream squishies that I could have used to replace the cone that was missing here, but it would have been a differently shaped cone than the other one. I feel like if I had names for all of them, it would be so much easier to talk about them. Okay, his name's Eustace. If I had replaced the cone with some cone from a random squishy, it would have been a different cone than the one that's on Eustace. If they're gonna be different anyway, why not just embrace that and make them even more different from each other? So I went for a cupcake. I'm gluing the cupcake in place, and then since Eustace had a cherry, I decided to give her, what do we call her? Shelly. We're gonna give Shelly a topping as well. I found this little strawberry squishy, so I'm chopping that up to the right size, which is still enormous, and then I'm gluing that on. Now everyone's here and in place. Time to seal all of the pieces together. There are a lot of very rough areas to cover on this squishy, particularly in the head region. Rough. So this took several layers of paint, just kind of globbing that over top of the mess until it looks a little bit better. You know, that's how you clean up all messes. Just glob a bunch of paint over it. I had this idea to try to cover up the bumpiness by adding like a tier of frosting on top, like layered drips, but that just looked like crap. So I ended up just smoothing that out and forgetting about that idea. And then I just moved on to painting the entire head white. Oh, and the body's white now too. That's my base coat so that I can go in with a light pink for the cat color. So I'll just do several coats of that pink to build up the color until, you know, that looks good and nice, and I'm stalling, and okay, it looks good and nice. I'm painting another coat of white on the top. I'll admit that the cupcake sticking out of the head, it's slightly strange, I guess. It doesn't read as well as the ice cream cone, but it's a good idea.
Nice try.
I'm just gonna keep on rolling with it since it's kind of too late to turn back back now. And now I'm going for another coat of white on the frosting. This time I'm doing a nice thick coat and I'm smoothing that out as much as I can. When you apply thick coats of paint like this, the paint does flatten out a little bit as it dries, so you don't have to like obsess about it too much, but just get it roughly smooth. That makes no sense. Oh, and
Here's where it gets good.
I'm gonna add some little circular sprinkles while the paint is still wet. No. Okay, and once all of that dries, I'm gonna clean up those edges. This one, I wanted to have an annoyed expression. She's just very annoyed that there's currently a cupcake on her head. I mean, can you blame her? An ice cream cone ate her ear. I gave her some white paws. It kind of looks like she stepped in frosting. I'm okay with that. And I fixed up her face a little. Her whiskers are very crooked, so I'm gonna paint over one side and then just repaint those. That's better. Adding some little details to her tail and her ears, or ear, and it's done. This one I think came out pretty amazing. I think I like this one even better than what's his name? Eustace. I'm really happy with it. Even though the cupcake sticking out does look a little bit weird, I still really like it. It kind of reminds me of this drawing that I did in my Create This book way back in the day. I love how annoyed she looks.
Freaking cupcake on my head.
And it's time to bring in her creepy companion. It's Eustace. He looks like the type that'll try to get just a little too close. I think these two look really cute together. I'm very happy to add these two to my collection.